Who joined?
Hi, it's Stardust.
Oh, what up?
Not much. What's up with you?
Just chilling.
I've been seeing you do a couple of interesting things lately.
I'm always doing interesting things. Which one
I mean, you are always doing interesting things, but what got you on the Islam arc all of a sudden?
Fuck, I just looked this up yesterday. I don't remember. What was it, guys? I think some Tate Muslim guy tried to trigger me, and I think I tried to trigger him, and I did an exceedingly good job.
Yeah. Just as a, so I find the whole thing very interesting, because I've been watching, so I'm like a former Muslim myself, so I used to I used to call myself like a cultural Muslim, right? When I first interacted with Muslims online, they got really, really mad at me for that.
Okay.
So I started calling myself an ex-Muslim, but I don't really identify as much with ex-Muslims because in general, ex-Muslims tend to be pretty like bitter about the religion.
Yeah, there's like an ex-Muslim community. It's like they're all like really, really mad people. Yeah.
They're very bitter about the religion, and I understand why. Because in a lot of places around the world, the way Islam is practiced is much more strict. You know, the way that Islam is practiced in the U.S. is probably the most, you know, loose that it can be practiced. So I understand why there's so many people in the ex-Muslim community that are very bitter about Islam, but for a while I identified as an ex-Muslim, but I just didn't really fit in because I'm not that bitter about it.
Sure.
I understand the you know, the shortcomings of it and all of that, and I think all religion for me is, you know, I'm not a fan of all religion in general. But so nowadays I still say ex-Muslim, or I'll say like former Muslim. But yeah, it's interesting to see all the people coming out of the woodworks for Andrew Tate, especially somebody who is like anti-Islamic in everything that he's done in his life, and to see people like, do you know who Muhammad Hijab is?
No, that's a really funny name, but what about it?
Yeah, Muhammad Hijab is this YouTuber, a very big Muslim YouTuber, who has like a long history of basically going after gay Muslims, going after like, you know, trans Muslims, progressive Muslims, things like that. And he was one of the first people to open let me rephrase that. He was one of the first people to welcome Tate into the Muslim community with open arms.
Okay.
Which I found like incredibly hypocritical. Like this man is quite like he's not just you know, sex trafficking. He's like, he himself is behind a keyboard talking to people, engaging in sex work in a sense. And I remember when all of this was like first going down, there were a lot of like female feminist Muslims who would speak out about Andrew Tate and Muhammad Hijab. I remember he got onto YouTube with Andrew Tate and, you know, said, you know, these feminist Muslims who are talking badly about you, you know, it's unacceptable.
Okay.
Which is just it's just ridiculous to me that this man who is the epitome of like everything that you shouldn't want in your religion is being welcomed so easily. And there's like a whole, I noticed this a while back, that there's like a, you know, decent overlap between like the online Muslim content creator audience and the online red pill audience. And yeah, I mean, I noticed it for a while, but I guess I never expected this type of merging to happen. And
been watching since the streams.
I thought
Keep up the nice work.
Would have expected more, at least from some of the Muslims. At least, you know, some of them are U.S. Based Muslims, right? Some of them have to be a little bit more critical thinking, right? But I guess not. So
yeah. Well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Saw you had a talk with Spencer as well. How did that go?
It went pretty well, I think. It's on the No Jumper channel.
Yeah, I listened to some of it. I thought it was pretty interesting. I think one thing that I found really interesting about your conversation with him was the dichotomy of how you talked about how cultures across, like culture as a whole, is being exported globally, right? And there are a lot of things you'll like music you'll hear regardless of what country you're in. You'll see specific, like the way that cities are structured. You'll see like similarities, things like that, because we live in so much more of a globalized world. But I think it's an interesting dichotomy that we have with that versus the online space and how fractured people are becoming online, and how quick people are to find labels, whether they're like political labels or otherwise, and kind of identify with them online and make their own little space. I wondered what you thought about that.
I mean, like what in particular? That like people labeling and atomizing and everything online, or what? Like.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely happening. Yeah, it's a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was talking to somebody about the the Fediverse.
I don't know what that is. No.
So like it's like where everybody, you know how everybody's going over to Mastodon.
No, I know that some people went over when Twitter was everything,
so
but not everybody.
Yeah,
okay.
Not everybody. But there are a lot of people who went over to Mastodon. There are a lot of people on Post. There are a lot of people on these. I don't know how to describe the Fediverse properly. I'm not like a super tech savvy person, but essentially, you know what I'm talking about there, right?
No, wait, I don't know what the Fediverse is at all. Am I crazy? No. Say that again, sorry.
Okay.
Or, is this like a Fet Life, like fetish communities?
No,
or?
no. Fediverse, Fediverse. Essentially, Mastodon is an example.
Oh, are you talking about like having like a federated login server that works across like multiple instances of social media ran that can okay, I know what you're. I'm familiar with this. So, I think it's like a tech concept. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I was talking to somebody, and they were saying that they anticipate the internet will become even more fractured than it already is because of things like the Fediverse. Just because you see certain domain, or no, I don't know if they're domains, but certain instances in the Fediverse will block other instances, and then they'll become kind of like fractured, and nobody will be able to communicate with each other. And I don't know what's going. I mean, it
is this like the way? Is there like literally anybody else besides Mastodon trending towards like federated kind of login stuff? Is that a thing at all?
Well, yeah. I mean, there are like before Mastodon, there were plenty of people going over to Post, and Gab at a certain point was part of that, but
I thought Gab was like a central server thing. Is Gab actually like?
I think they were at a point, like, but then they became their own thing. They like, you know, I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's an interesting idea that the internet itself might become much more fractured, and people might just like wall themselves off from other sections of the internet.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's too many advantages to being like on one big thing. I don't think people will ever all start to trend in that direction. I don't see it happening. I guess it could. Like,
yeah.
It just seems like that. Yeah, there's too many benefits to having like one central like server where everything is, I think.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I know that a lot of people who were banned off Twitter are very happy to be back on Twitter because everybody's on Twitter. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So regarding the Muslim stuff on Twitter, like, you just gonna keep like poking the hornet's nest, I guess, or?
Oh, it depends how much they annoy me. But I mean, sorry to kind of calm down and just you move on to the next thing. Kind of boring now.
My favorite thing to tell people, I don't know why, I see a lot of like Muslims on Twitter with like anime profile pictures. My favorite thing to tell them is like, you can't you can't be Muslim and be watching anime. You cannot be liking pictures of big titty girl anime girls and be, you know, preaching, you know, the deen, you know, preaching Islam and you know.
Is it actually like contradictory here?
Yeah, it's a contradictory 100%. You can't be liking big titty anime girls and then, you know, going full white knight for Islam. Are you kidding me?
Oh, well, rip to them then.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck me.
Well, what else is new?
Nothing, just playing StarCraft, waiting for the next big thing to happen. Politically, it's kind of boring right now, but...
Yeah.
Next election cycle, still pretty far away. I have a ton of debates lined up for, like, this, I think, next month. I think this month is going to be pretty chill for me, the rest of this month, and yeah.
Are you going to talk to AP soon?
AP?
Apostate Prophet.
Oh, maybe. He tried to message me on Discord, but he's one of those people that seems hard to contact, so I don't know. Like, he DM'd me, and then I DM'd him back, and then he didn't respond, so I'm not sure.
He's a really nice guy. I've talked to him before. So, yeah, that should be a really interesting conversation.
Yeah. Indeed, indeed. What about you? Anything exciting happening recently?
No, nothing exciting. Just I find just because I have that personal connection with the Islam stuff, I find the recent Twitter activity very enthralling. So, super fun for me to watch.
Cool. Well, hopefully I don't get killed. So.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not. You know, a lot of it's just empty threats. I had back when I first like entered the online space, I used to argue with a bunch of fundy Muslims, and I think one of the arguments I had with them, I brought up Aisha and how Aisha was, you know, she was married at 6, consummated at 9. And this one dude I was arguing with got so mad at me. He like followed me around to like every panel I was on for like 6 months. And just was like, just typing in all caps. She called our prophet the pedophile and all that. Yeah. So some of them can be pretty unhinged. Some of them can be.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of like big typing like paragraphs for explaining like how 9-year-olds back then were actually really mature or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Somebody tried to say to me that, they back then they went through puberty earlier. They definitely did not go through puberty at 9. Like they did not go through puberty by 9. That is, you know, they probably went through puberty around like 16. If we're being real, right? And yeah, there's there's like the verse about Muhammad playing or watching Aisha play with dolls and maybe playing with the dolls with her.
Yeah, and apparently there are some hadiths or something that refer to her, and like the specific Arabic used is like very specifically the connotation is like a young undeveloped girl or something.
Yeah. There's some really funny hadiths out there. There's one hadith that talks about Prophet Muhammad telling a bunch of sick people to drink camel urine. You should bring that up sometime. It's a pretty good one to bring up, yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, well.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I'm gonna go. Good talking with you.
Yeah, have fun, be careful, stay safe.
Thanks, you too.
Yep, bye.